Boom! What's happening, boys and girls? Jay Bir with you back here in the Wolves Den. There it is, DJ Bir. Follow me on Twitter. I'm verified. I got a check mark. Put that check mark on that graphic there, fellas. Let's go. Give me my comeuppance. It's like, yeah, you know, when you're a doctor, you earn that. I earned that check mark. All right, enough about me. Let's get into this game here. Big time game here this past weekend. Red Wolves hosting Southern, them Eagles. Boy, it was on fire. Offense was on fire early. You see the records there. Woo, this is a big one in terms of the bowl stuff here. One thing you got to kind of reel in is that running game there of Georgia Southern. Boy, they're good at it. They would actually hold them to a field goal on this drive. First drive of this game here. Boom, here's that field goal. Boom, bam, right on in there. So field goals better than touchdowns, so we'll give them that here. Like I said, Arkansas State's offense was electric early on. In fact, this guy right here, Jonathan Adams Jr., my goodness, he had a first half, let me tell you that. Big time catch there, got it draped all over him there. Gets this touchdown. So if I can spit it out here, boom. Hey, one's good, two's better. It's already 14-0 there. And that was right at the end of the first quarter, so that really changed the dynamic of the game here. But, man, it's Omar Bayless just doing Omar Bayless stuff right there. I guess the tape doesn't lie, Senior Bowl. But again, Georgia Southern doing what Southern does, shy words. Gosh, that guy's an athlete, and he just gave the Red Wolves fits here. Gets the score there. All right, a lot of times I'll say if we're showing special teams, something good happened or something bad happened. Last week, something bad happened. This week, something good happened. There you go, the kid. Get it. 94 yards on the kickoff return. Really injected some life into things. Really needed that cushion in this game for sure for the Red Wolves. And then he goes up and gets one. Kirk Merritt is multi-talented. Look at this. Boom. He's done that to several fellas on the year here. Georgia Southern trying to get tricky because it's what they got to do. They're down 25. Couldn't convert on the fourth down play there, but they would get two right there on the next drive. Unfortunately for the Red Wolves, could not get out of the end zone. They give up a fake field goal here. This is that old play. Just throw it up and hopefully someone catches it. Oh, boy, and it worked that time. Bummer. And then that would lead to that. You see the little pump fake. Now, Georgia Southern actually had to throw this ball a lot more than what they are comfortable doing in this game. You saw the touchdown there. Here we are, into the third quarter. That was it for the scoring for the Red Wolves right there. You get the Blake Gruby field goal. He kind of struggled a little bit, but the wind started swirling a lot here late in this one to try to put it away here. But again, shy words, gosh, he is just a baller, man. You cannot contain that guy. And when he gets into some space, you give him just a little bit of space, he's going to make something happen there. Almost got the touchdown there, but couldn't quite finish it off here. But again there, shy words throwing the ball. And I think that really threw the Red Wolves off a little bit in this one, is how much they ended up having to throw. Obviously, when you're down 25 in the first half, you got to change your game plan a little bit, and they did a lot of that. And this was one thing that we did say last week, was they needed to stop what we thought were going to be the handful of passes that they were going to throw. They threw the ball a lot in this one. I want to say, if I remember right, I don't have it in front of me right now, but Shy Words threw the ball about 18 times, which may have doubled what he's done on the year so far. But the guy ran for tons of yardage as well here. Play of the game right here. Obviously, see, it's very close here. That was 4th and 11. Oh, that one was close. Here we go. We got the measurements. Coach Blake right on top of that thing. Ooh! Couple chain links short, and the Red Wolves survived by that much in this one. Ooh! Ooh, and there you see the final 38-33. My goodness, what a game. Definitely the classic case of the tale of two halves. Obviously, being up 35-10, you end up winning 38-33. So, Red Wolves just really couldn't get it going in this one. Oh, I got to take a breath from that one. Throw up some of the stats there for me, guys, because we had some interesting ones here. Lane Hatcher just had him a day. 19-24, 354 yards, 4 TDs, big one there, no interceptions. He did have that one safety, but, you know, line kind of collapsed in on him. What are you going to do here? Omar Bayless, again, I guess it's not good enough for the Senior Bowl here, but 7 catches, 113 yards, had that big touchdown there. You know, maybe I don't see something on the tape. I don't know. Maybe somebody should submit something to them on this one. Jonathan Adams Jr. had him a big-time day. 7 catches, also 158 yards. You saw the 2 TDs early on in this one. Kirk Merritt, only 2 catches in this one, but he also had the big touchdown run there and had some big-time blocks down the way here. Darian Jackson, again, leading the way for the defense. 11 total tackles, 8 solo. Was in that backfield a lot this past week. And then third down, it was all right. 4 for 9. Defensively, though, huge. Look at that, 5 of 14. Only 1 for 4 on fourth downs as well did the Red Wolves allow there. So the defense really came through on this one. And granted, you game plan for one thing, and then the Eagles really had to change things up here. Going to the total yards and everything, fairly even, 445 for the Red Wolves, Eagles with 474, but how they got there was a lot different here. You see the rushing yards. Arkansas State just really hadn't been able to get that rushing game going the past couple of weeks. Obviously, I should say Georgia Southern there, not CCU, but hey, same difference there. Both teams really racking up the running yards the past couple of weeks. And then passing yardage, obviously, the Red Wolves, you saw the 354, 182 for the Eagles. Now, that's huge for those guys. They don't normally touch the century mark. Had a lot in this one, and that's something that you've really got to be a little concerned with going forward here. Again, a light offensive day for the Red Wolves in terms of holding on to the ball. They just couldn't really sustain a lot of long drives, but some of those drives that you saw were literally one-play drives. I think 2 of those touchdowns, the one to Merritt and the one to Bayless, one-play drives. So, you know, you'll take that over holding on to the ball for a long time, but that defense getting worn out, you kind of saw that there in the second half. But, hey, it all worked out there in the end. All right, let's take a look at a couple of bowl projections because now they're sitting at 7 wins. They're looking pretty darn good for a bowl game. So what are the people saying out there? We see ESPN still got that Cure versus Liberty. I am fascinated by that game, but also they've got them projecting to potentially the Camellia Bowl versus Miami. Now, that's Miami of Ohio for everybody really getting amped up out there to play the U. Well, there's still some bitter feelings about that one. But you're seeing a lot more differentiation here, and this is also week 13 for the record. I missed that one there. Also, who else we got here? Sporting News has them in the Arizona Bowl versus Air Force. Thinks that's a fascinating game, kind of what you're going to see similar to Georgia Southern if this one comes to fruition. CBS and Athlon have them in the Cure Bowl versus UCF. You see CFN there, the Camellia Bowl versus Buffalo. Couple of interesting matchups there, and then 24/7 has them in the Cure Bowl versus Temple. So a lot more variety this week, and that 7th win really comes in key here because now they've kind of elevated themselves in the pecking order. So now we really don't have a solid idea of where they potentially could be going. I don't think really Arizona is going to be an option unless there's some wheeling and dealing with a lot of things. I still really think it's going to be the Cure Bowl, but now the Camellia Bowl might come into play a little bit here. Obviously, New Orleans Bowl is probably going to end up going to the winner of the Sun Belt Championship title game, which is now officially official. We've got a rematch of last year, so it's going to be App State versus Louisiana Lafayette in this one. Not really sure if there's going to be a runner-up bowl game guarantee. They didn't announce that. It was going to be the Cure Bowl last year. They didn't announce that till maybe the week of the title game. But obviously the winner got the New Orleans Bowl. It's probably going to be the same thing this year. Will be interesting to see if maybe they place the runner-up into another bowl game. It's going to be fascinating to see how that goes here. So that could be the only monkey wrench we potentially see for Arkansas State going to Orlando, potentially. I still think that's the destination, but if the league kind of changes some things up here, it could throw a monkey wrench into things. But you're going to see the Camellia Bowl pop up a lot more as well because they're third potentially in that pecking order. So traditionally what it's been the New Orleans Bowl. They got first pick, which is why we saw Louisiana Lafayette there quite a bit. Sold a lot of tickets, all that good stuff. So it was New Orleans. Then what is now the Lending Tree Bowl, as we all affectionately know it as the GoDaddy Bowl. We got the Lending Tree, has always been number 2 in the pecking order. Camellia Bowl was 3rd, Cure 4th, and then Arizona is 5th. At least that's how it has been. Now again, they've kind of mixed some things up here with the way they've placed, like they did last year. Runner-up ended up going to the Cure Bowl. So Orlando, kind of a nice destination place. Not a bad runner-up gig there, but do they want the same 2 teams in the same 2 bowls from last year? TBA, winner's going to go to the New Orleans Bowl more than likely. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the projections sort of work themselves out if the Sun Belt office tends to change things up just a little bit when it comes to placement in here. All right, but before we get to all that, I still got one more game. They've loved going down to Mobile. Hey, let's do it again. Next week here, Saturday, November 30th, down in Mobile, Alabama. They call it Jonesbooga South. 4 o'clock kickoff, ESPN Plus. If you're not in the neighborhood down there, they've got some good shopping down there. You can hit some Black Friday stuff down there in Mobile. You know, kind of a big city. Let's go. New Orleans isn't that far away. Maybe make a long weekend out of it here. Anyways, taking on the Jags. Jags have, they have had a tough year. 1-10 on the year. It's been a tough scene there for the Jags here, but what do the Red Wolves have to do to win this one? Let's get into the keys to this game here, and obviously, number one, bring the energy. It's probably going to be a dead crowd. Like I said, you got the holidays and everything like that. There's probably not going to be a ton of people in the stands, and we've seen this out of this team before. Keys of the game should say out South Alabama. Man, I'm just slacking on the graphics here this week, guys. Just roll with me here. I didn't even have a bunch of turkey yet. But this is going to be one of those things where is this going to be dull out the gate here? We saw it last year against Texas State when they had to go to San Marcos when nobody was in that stadium. They tend to, kind of drag their feet a little bit. I think it's going to be something to see if maybe what I would do here if I was the Red Wolves, I would take the ball first if you can. Boom. I would just take shots downfield. Make sure you have a good offensive drive, but I would try to get people involved in this thing early on. And then basically what you got to do is you got to shut down the Jags. They just really don't have a lot positive going for them on the season here. In fact, they're not scoring a lot, only 17 a game. That puts them way down in terms of points per game in the country. They don't rush the ball really well. They don't throw the ball really well. They're pretty balanced when it comes to those things. You look at the numbers here on the season. They're fairly even when it comes to rushing and throwing. Just a little over 1,800 yards rushing, a little over 1,600 yards passing. Comparatively to the Red Wolves, a little over 1,600 yards rushing, well over 3,000 yards passing. So you kind of tend to know what you're going to get with the Red Wolves here, but they've got the ability there. And the Jags do have a little big play ability. They've hit for some big plays on the year, but also, their third downs aren't great, only 30%. Fourth down, they've gone for it a few times, not great on that. The red zone success hasn't been wonderful. They tend to be a little sloppy. That's another thing, too, and we're kind of going back to bring the energy. Teams have been a little sloppy going down to Mobile. If you go back and you watch some of this App State game and then also Georgia Southern, in fact, it took 2 overtimes for Southern to put them away, and it was only by a field goal. Again, it kind of comes down to that bring the energy. When you don't have the energy, you tend to make mental mistakes. You tend to get a little sloppy. This game has kind of been odd in this series. Obviously, remember a few years back when Arkansas State was in a running for a conference title, went down there to Mobile, lost that game. It really had no business losing it, but it's always been interesting to watch this game unfold here. But also, you got to recharge Marcel. Let's get that man going. He's been shut down the past couple of weeks. Obviously, teams are keying on that, the fact that they're going to sell out on the run. Because when Marcel is moving, this offense is absolutely unstoppable. And then plus it also allows them to hold on to the ball a little longer than maybe what Arkansas State is comfortable doing. Well, not more comfortable, but they are comfortable holding on to the ball. And it kind of gets that defensive energy recharged. You kind of change your game plan a little bit. You're not throwing the ball over the place, which is exciting, but you want to keep the chains moving. You don't want to play from behind the chains as well. And we've seen that. Like we saw against Coastal Carolina, they really struggled with that a little bit as well. But also feed the three. Man, you got 3 receivers out there. That triumvirate needs to touch the ball, and we see what happens when those guys touch the ball. Jonathan Adams was that guy this past week. Omar Bayless is going to get his, and then Kirk Merritt is making contributions as well. He had the 1 touchdown. It was a big TD right there. He only had 2 catches on the day, but when you had the other guys catching 14 balls combined, there's always going to be one guy that kind of takes a little bit more of a back seat, and that's fine because, hey, results speak for themselves. But also there's other ways that those guys can contribute. We know that Omar Bayless is tied for the lead in the country in terms of blocked kicks. And then you saw last week also Merritt with that big kickoff return. So there's other ways these guys can contribute as well besides catching the ball. And we've seen that. And also just go down there and handle your business. Handle business. This is a game you should win. This is a game you should win comfortably. I want to say, if I remember right, they're 13-point favorites in this one, if you're into that sort of thing, the whole Vegas line and all that. But this is a team that's struggling. They're not very good. 1-10 on the year. They're 1-10 for a reason because, frankly, they stink. Now, are they bad? They're not as bad as what their record indicates. They've had a little bad luck. They're young. You know, South Al has really struggled the past couple of years when it comes to their football team anyways. But Arkansas State, this is a team. You could go for 8 wins on the year. Considering what was the mood a few weeks back, to get to 8, kind of big. And also, it kind of really sets the stage for bowl positioning. Again, kind of getting back into that. How does the pecking order turn out? We'll have to wait and see here. But you got to go down there. You got to handle your business. So, again, bring the energy. You handle your business. You shut them down. You handle that business. You get Murray going. You handle your business. Feed the 3. You handle your business. You handle your business. Then you handle your business. That's all you can say about that. So, I don't want to say it's a big-time game here, but it's an important game down there in Mobile. So, again, 4 o'clock Saturday. It's on the plus if you've got the plus. If you don't, I advise you get it. It's actually kind of a nifty thing to have here. And again, we'll kind of get into some more of the bowl scenarios. Might have a clearer picture of things, but we're not going to know for sure until the Sun Belt Championship title game begins. It's going to be Appalachian State versus the Raging Cajuns. You know, when you don't beat the teams, this is what happens. So they're sitting out this one. It's going to be in Boone again. We'll talk about that a little more next week. And then we'll also probably have a little bit clearer picture of where the bowl scenarios are going to go. But again, people are all over the map here. The fact that they're even being projected to Arizona, I don't know. Arizona's nice. New Year's Eve in Tucson would be kind of neat. But I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being the Cure Bowl. But watch out for the Chameleon Bowl. Watch out for the Crampton Bowl down there in Montgomery, Alabama. Here, we had a good time there in Montgomery. Not a lot going on, but once you get into that downtown area, kind of neat there. All right, so there you have it here. Again, big game. Taking on the Jags this weekend, 4 o'clock Saturday. Make sure you're getting your cheer on and everything like that. We'll come back next week. We'll kind of break down this game. We'll look ahead to the Sun Belt Championship title game. We'll kind of get into the bowl picture a little more here. We'll talk a little more hoop next week. It's been a long time here for the hoop game. Hey, and shout out, too, for the men's team. If you didn't watch that Colorado State game, they were 13-point underdogs in that game. They were getting stomped in that game. I think at one point it was like a 90% chance that the Rams would win. Came back, won the thing. Took the lead there with about a couple minutes left here. Held on to this one, 80-78. Big road win there for the fellas. So shouts out to the men's basketball team, 5-1 on the year. Could be a little different year for the men's basketball team. Like I said, we'll start talking about them a lot more here as we kind of get into basketball season. The conference season's coming up pretty soon here. So you guys might want to watch out for that one here. All right, so, but from all of us here in the den here, happy Thanksgiving. Don't let the tryptophan trip you up. If you get a lot of turkey in your system, man, take a nap. It's going to make you tired. Take you a nap. Get out there. Be careful on the roads here. Be careful wherever you're going, whether it be the mall. Don't throw the elbows. It's still going to be there. You can order that stuff on Amazon here. But again, from all of us here at the den here, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll be sure to be right back here again next week.